Okay, just on a beat. Jadeveon Clowney had like an MVP type game. Nick Bosa has had a couple games like that this season against the Browns and the Panthers. Oh shit, I don't have my glasses on. Ready?
Yeah,
Am I ready? I'm not that bummed out by that loss. I feel like it was a dogfight. I feel like the Seahawks are always a really good team. Russell Wilson is, I mean, he's the quarterback of our generation right now. This game reminded me a lot of the 49ers versus Giants game in the NFC Championship, I think in 2011. I was actually at that game, and man, that shit was wild. I remember, I think they went into overtime, and it was like Kyle Wilson fumbled. We already had a chance to win, but we didn't close it out, and then we make a big mistake, and that's how the game ends. That's what it felt like. And you know what? That was a great game. This was a great game. Kittle was out, so the offense definitely struggled. He is the most important part of our team right now. We've lost our left tackle, our right tackle, our fullback in a run first offense for the most part, and we were able to just blow teams out. Like we blew out the Panthers. We lost Kittle for one game, and actually it's one game and like a quarter, because the fourth quarter against the Cardinals we didn't have Kittle. And if you look at that game and a quarter, our offense can't do shit. So God, I hope that Kittle comes back and can right the ship. Jimmy was off today, and I mean it was kind of on Jimmy. It was a lot on his receivers and his lack of consistency at the receiver spot. Everybody had drops. Bourne had like 12 drops. Juice had a drop on a big, I think it was a third down, or maybe it was a second down, but he had a first down for sure, and he dropped the ball. Goodwin dropped the ball. Pettis dropped the ball. And we were just super lucky that those didn't turn into interceptions, but also KJ Wright dropped the ball, and Bobby Wagner dropped the ball. So we had their team dropping for sure interceptions. Jimmy's day could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot better if he would have got help from the receivers. Losing Emmanuel Sanders was also a huge deal, because we lost that person that can win in one-on-one coverage, and that's what Kittle represents for us, especially on third down. I actually really enjoyed that game. That was a lot of fun. Both offenses struggled. Both defenses shined. I was really impressed with the Seahawks defense. I did not know they were that good, because I've been listening to commentators and talking heads too much. I thought I knew what they were fucking with over there, but Jadeveon Clowney is, I mean, that was like a defensive MVP game. That was like a game Nick Bosa has. And he's had a couple this year against the Browns and the Panthers. Jadeveon Clowney was just destroying that game. He was doing that on our two starting tackles who have been out for like the past month and a half. He did that on Joe Staley. He did that on Mike McGlinchey. So I don't know, man. It was pretty rough watching the game, thinking, man, I'd love to see what Justin School and Daniel Brunskill would do right now. They've been holding it down while those two have been healing from injury, recovering from injury. And I think it's a function of Kittle being out. But Jadeveon Clowney destroyed that game. But our defense really shined. I remember there was a moment when we were down 21-10 where there was still some time left in the third quarter where it felt like people that I was talking to were wanting to give up. It felt like there was no hope, because we're remembering what it was like to be a 49er fan in the past, pretty much 12, 13, 14, 15 years. Aside from the Harbaugh time, but even then we were still getting punked by the Seahawks. So it felt like tragic inevitability that we were not going to be able to overcome them. But the truth is that the history of the 49ers spans back. But when you talk about like the modern era of being a 49er fan, it starts with Bill Walsh. It starts in 1981, 82. That's when they start winning their Super Bowls. And for 2 decades, they are the dominant team in their division. They did what the Patriots did way back before it was cool. So when we look at it in that context, you don't have to think just because you're down 21-10 that you're not going to be able to get back in the game. Good teams get back in the game. Great teams get back in the game, and they do it all the time. So yeah. Let's keep our heads up. Let's try to have faith. There's a reason we're called the 49er faithful. It's not because they get a 2-score lead on us and all of a sudden we freak out. So that's all I got to say about that. Cut my mic. I'm done.